Okay, let's get fluent. Pardon the hair, but if I got pretty for every one of these videos, they would never be made. So, I'm Micah, a trilingual mom raising a trilingual daughter, and guess what? I've also been a language teacher for almost 20 years. Today we are going to discuss Habbi Habbi Bilingual books. Have you heard of Habbi Habbi? This video discusses what Habbi Habbi really has to offer. Questions. Do their books really work? What does work even mean? You certainly can't get fluent from a few books, but what can they do to help you? What can you expect? And how can you use it best in your child's language journey? This is the key question for any bilingual resource. How are you going to use it to help your child's fluency? I'm real big about not getting bored and using lots of different resources. I get bored very easily, so you have to change it up. Whether you're a native speaker or you're learning with your child, or you're a non-native speaker like me who wants to add more resources into your child's daily life, let's get down to it. Habbi Habbi offers bilingual books for kids that want to learn Spanish, French, Chinese, Korean, Hindi. The text is in English and the target language. They also sell vocabulary cards with different topics and bilingual puzzles. But we're focusing on the books, the main product, and the talking wand in this review. So the uniqueness of these books is obviously a talking wand. My daughter started getting the hang of using the wand around age 2. Yours might be different. She can tap it anywhere in the book and the book will say a phrase. Even the blank spaces of the book will make a sound. For example, the sounds of the forest if you tap on the trees, or animal sounds. Or sometimes it's just random music, which my daughter actually really loves and she always starts dancing. So the wand has 3 modes: the classic bilingual mode, target language only, and English only mode. I use target language only with my 2-year-old since I am raising her in French only. We can do this. But you might want to do bilingual mode if you're a beginner. It's not always obvious what the wand is saying in the target language without the English counterpart. But here's one of the most important questions we must ask ourselves as parents. How will I use these books to further language acquisition? And are they truly useful for us? Honestly, my main complaints about language learning books in general, almost all of them, is that they don't teach useful phrases we would use every day. I don't know why people want to teach unuseful phrases, but they often do. And some of the Habbi Habbi books miss the mark also. Like the Things That Go book. Maybe someone out there is saying sedan when talking about cars, but I really doubt my kid will know what a sedan is for a few decades. I barely know, and I'm 42. Second complaint about almost all language learning books, they only give 1 words to learn, not sentences to use them in. I would suggest to Habbi Habbi for them to say, "What type of car is this?" "It's a truck," as a way to interact with the books in a more useful way. If these are for kids over 2 years old, then they are already speaking. So give them sentences, not just vocabulary, and give them useful vocabulary, not the words sedan, station wagon, street sweeper, freight train, or monorail. I get it. Maybe some kids love all of those things, but I think more space could be used to form dialogues and complete sentences over kind of random transportation words. So, in short though, the books are cool. My daughter loves playing with them, but in all honesty, will Habbi Habbi books help your kids learn a language? Again, vocabulary without context is not the best way to learn. Ollie Richards and many other language experts agree, and I do too, that learning through stories is a million times more interesting, memorable, and fun. I will say, some of the books have mini dialogues, like the My First Phrases book. But I wish there was a picture to go with those questions and answers. It's just a big bubble with tons of questions next to a kid's head. The phrases are not set next to pictures showing them what the phrase means, So without the English translation on the wand, they wouldn't know what it was saying. I understand the need for the translation, but it's better to have at least some idea of what's going on with pictures as well. Since I like the wand to be in target language mode, this does not help my 2-year-old understand what is being said by looking at the photos in the My First Phrases book. Next thing, is this suitable for your kid? In terms of age, Habbi Habbi founders state on their website that they create these books for preschool and early elementary ages, but they also emphasize that it can vary depending on if you have a bilingual environment at home and whenever you're feeling like your kids are ready to start. As mentioned, my 2-year-old loves it and asks for it. I forgot to charge the wand this week and she was very upset. And I already lost the charger, as I lose things in general. So I do wish there was a battery option as well for us scattered parents. I would love to let her play with it on her own as well, but the placement of the off button means that she turns it off at least once every minute, which is really annoying, honestly. And she can't figure out how to turn it back on because you have to hold the button for 5 seconds to turn it on. I know it's hard to move an on-off button on a prototype, but guys, it is in a really bad location for kids. She squeezes it and it turns off all the time. And then she's screaming for me to help. I'm sure by age 3, she'll be able to turn it back on herself. I hope. Next question. How can you utilize this with your kids best? First, we highly encourage parent involvement. Make time to play with your kids using their books. You could ask them questions about the story or the pictures if you're utilizing this as a supplement to your language usage daily. For example, point at one of the images and ask, "What's that?" That way you'll encourage them to tap on the image you pointed at and repeat what the wand says. If you're not a native speaker, just look up questions on wordreference.com or ask a native speaking friend to be sure you're asking it correctly. Then make sure you're using the words you learned from the book in your daily life. So I learned the word for faucet while using these books, and now I daily use the word faucet when we wash our hands. Very cool. How is the technology of the books and wand? Habbi Habbi sells their wands as easy to use. It comes programmed in the bilingual mode, but you can easily change the mode by pressing the buttons that come in the products, whether it's a book, flashcard, or puzzle. They even give the options for users that have an old wand to update it for free by following the steps on their website. Of course, I haven't updated mine yet, but I need to because it keeps switching to bilingual mode when I want it to be in target language only. I myself am a language teacher and a polyglot. English is my only native language. I learned Spanish around age 26 with a C1 level, French around age 36, B2 level, and Japanese is an ongoing painful process for me, and I am at an A2 level. I'm also the founder and primary researcher at TRUFLUENCY KIDS Spanish, our online Spanish school for kids starting at age 4, with extremely small group classes for ultimate speaking time. And I'm raising my daughter trilingual in English, French, and Spanish. This gives me experience to share to you guys about tips on how to use these bilingual books and all things language learning. Here's to fluency.